For the past 3 years, I've been working in the Asia branch for an international financial institution located in Hong Kong. Even after 3 years of living here, the city never ceases to fascinate me. On one hand, you've got places like Central, where I worked, a modern metropolis filled with towering high-rises, each of them housing multiple Fortune Global 500 companies. The busy streets, with high-end stores like Prada and Louis Vuitton on their sides, they're filled with people from all over the world. Locals, tourists, South Asian guest workers, and Western expats like myself. And yet, just a few blocks away, you've got old neighborhoods, some of them built all the way back to the 1950s, that largely remain unchanged, where people still hold on to traditions passed down from centuries ago, from the statues of Guan Yu that can be found in every shop, to the occasional seen burn mark on the streets, indicating someone had burned tinfoil there, money sent to spirits of the restless dead. The story which I'm about to tell you happened a few weeks ago on a Saturday. It was my friend / co-worker Jimmy's birthday, and the boys decided to celebrate it with a night of bar crawling and drinking. By the end of this crawl, it was late at night, and we were just drunkenly wandering the streets, laughing and shouting out loud, probably annoying the nearby residents. It was because of being so drunk that we made one terrible mistake. As we prowled the streets, we noticed this old lady sitting by the walkway, surrounded by a clutter of items. There were 2 large, red-lit candles, a porcelain statue of Guan Yin, a folk goddess originating from Buddhism, a copper incense container with 3 incense sticks burning away, and a stack of yellow paper, plus a bunch of other weird items that I cannot quite recognize. She raises her head, and as she sees us, she gives us a wide, toothless grin, and she shouts at us with heavily accented and broken English. "You, yes you, come, if you want to see fun thing." Naturally, my friends were a little startled by this sudden development, but I remembered something I heard about when I first arrived in Hong Kong. This old lady is actually someone who performs a ritual. It is called villain hitting. That is a rough translation. It's kind of a curse. You give the villain hitter the name and birth date of someone you dislike. She writes them down on a yellow paper, cut into human shapes, and then hits that paper repeatedly with a shoe while chanting various misfortunes. These misfortunes will then be inflicted on your enemy. It is called sorcery, but in reality, it's more of a form of stress relief. It's popular in Hong Kong, especially among the overworked and underpaid office workers who need a place to vent their frustrations on horrible bosses and annoying co-workers. Though this is a bit strange to still see her out this late, I didn't give it too much thought. Normally, if you're walking around late at night and you encounter someone who basically practices witchcraft, you'd probably just speed up your steps and walk away as quickly as possible. But you see, the alcohol, it's clouded our judgment. And as I explained to my friends about villain hitting, I can see mischievous smiles creeping up on their faces. Magic rituals, curses on your enemies. Sounds like fun. And so, we stumbled towards this old lady, giggling to ourselves. We really are just a bunch of idiots, aren't we? As we approach her, the old lady once again flashes a grin at us. You paid 200. I curse your enemy. Sounds fair enough. We looked at each other, and we've all got these big, stupid grins on our faces. Are you thinking who I'm thinking? Jimmy asked us. And indeed, we were all thinking of the same person. Lawrence. He is one of the managers in the company, and one of the biggest jerks I've ever met. He is the kind of manager who spends his entire day sucking up to his superiors, while his underlings do all the work for him, only to have him claim all the credit. He's bossy, rude and deceiving. Need I say more? I'm sure we all know one of these. No one will sympathize with him if something bad happens. Plus, it's all dumb superstition anyways. So yeah, we agreed Lawrence is a villain and deserves some hitting. Jimmy, the birthday boy, paid the fee, and the old lady handed us one of those human-shaped yellow papers. She told us to write our enemy's name and his birthday on it. So we wrote down Lawrence's. Meanwhile, the lady lit another incense stick and bowed before the Guan Yin statue, her mouthing beginning to quietly chant. She was saying something in Cantonese, and I could not quite make it out. Then, the beating began. But the lady did not take out a shoe, as most villain hitters do. Instead, it was a sewing needle, as long as my little finger. Though the candlelight was dim, I can barely see that the tip of the needle is dyed red. I felt a chill crawling down my spine as I stared at that needle. The others also fell quiet, anticipating what might happen next. The lady gently lay the yellow paper with Lawrence's name and birth date on it on a small cushion on top of a stool. Still chanting under her breath, she began to stab the paper with the needle, mostly around the waist of the figure. The way she stabs the paper, it was intense, to put it lightly. Her eyes were bulging, her chanting speeding up as the stabs went faster and faster. For a moment, me and my friends were all mesmerized by this performance, a mix of curiosity, fascination, and fear. I can say for myself, it was probably more out of fear. Something just doesn't sit right. Villain hitters are generally loud when they're doing their work, presumably so everyone can hear how the villain is going to get it. But this woman's chanting is very quiet, and while the normally used shoe is largely for humiliating the villain, a needle can actually inflict harm. After what felt like an eternity, the woman finished her work. The human-shaped paper is riddled with needle holes spread across its body section. The old lady gave us another toothless grin. Now, your enemy is cursed. Have fun. Bye-bye. We awkwardly thanked her and left. The other boys continued to laugh and joke around, imagining all kinds of embarrassing situations that Lawrence might find himself in. But me? I can't shake this feeling that something is very off. The feeling persisted through Sunday as I work off my hangover. It's just a superstition, I keep on telling myself. A dumb thing that a bunch of dumb white guys do for shits and giggles. Nothing can go wrong, right? Monday came around, and it started off normal enough. I even saw Lawrence coming in for work. He did look a bit pale, his steps a bit wobbly, and he was quieter than usual. But he was here, looking relatively healthy. Perhaps he was drunk last night and felt hungover. It wouldn't be the first time either. Somewhere in my heart, I was actually relieved seeing he's okay. An hour later, I suddenly heard a loud bang, followed by Lawrence's blood-curdling scream. By the time I reached his office, there was already a crowd huddled at the door, all staring with terror at the man writhing in agony on the floor. Lawrence is frantically alternating between trying to scratch his body and remove his shirt, all the while screaming repeatedly, "Make it stop! It's so painful! Make it stop!" When the last piece of his shirt came off, we all gasped in horror at the sight before us. Lawrence's upper body is covered in bloody scratch marks. He probably had been scratching himself throughout yesterday. As Lawrence continued to scream and scratch at himself, blood began to flow out from his wounds, dripping all over the floor. My friends had joined me, but I was just so caught up in what's happening, I barely registered their reaction at all. Soon, the ambulance arrived and they took Lawrence away. By that time, his throat had worn out and he was just weakly lying on the floor groaning. His body twitched and he spasmed as he tried in vain to scratch every inch of it. The carpet beneath him was now soaked in blood. As the ER people wheeled him out, that bastard suddenly regained his strength. Fighting the medics as they attempted to strap him down, Lawrence grabbed my arm and looked into my eyes with the most hateful stare I've ever seen and said, "I know you did it. You all did this to me. You did this." As he was wheeled away, his accusations still echoed throughout the office. Till this day, Lawrence is still in the hospital, itching all over and screaming nonsense. Apparently the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with him. Physically, that is. I hear they're considering transferring him to a mental institution. Unsurprisingly, no one felt bad for him. Some even say it was karma, that he had it coming. The police came in and they asked everyone in the office a bunch of questions. Of course, none of us told them anything. And so life went back to normal. A new guy took Lawrence's place in his office. The story of how Lawrence went suddenly mad one day became something of an office legend. As for me and my friends, we didn't speak to each other for several days after that incident. When we finally did, we all decided to never talk about our stupid ventures that night, ever again. We've made an unspoken pact to bury what guilt we might feel and just forget the whole thing. Yet sometimes, late at night, I still think about this, remembering the little details, like how the air felt chilly when the old lady was conducting the ritual, despite it being midsummer. Like how when she bid us bye-bye, her accent seemed to have disappeared. Like how Lawrence was looking in my direction as he screamed out his accusations. Oh God. Just what have we done?